You cheeky bastard. Now you know how powerful I really am.
Be water, my friend.
Kiss my Converse.
On guard. I'll let you try my Wu-Tang style.
You don't even know the basic technique of Kung Fu.
Lone Wolf and Cub. Fatal Needles vs. Fatal Fists is a 1978 Lee Tso Nam directed film that is often slept on as a B-list movie. This film stars Lo Lai, Yi Shang, Gam Ming, and others. But the real star of this film is Dong Wang Tao, who plays Ming Hu, vice captain of the local police department. Ming Hu and his partner, Captain Chow Lung, played by veteran actor Lo Lai, scour the countryside, catching criminals and bandits in order to keep their province free of crime. The duo is well known for catching bandits and are basking in their success when they are challenged by a group of criminals whose intent is to kill them. In the midst of their subsequent battle, Ming Hu accidentally slashes his partner with a knife, which results in his death. Ming is so devastated with grief over the death of his partner that he turns to alcohol, quits his job, and eventually loses his identity. After one night of heavy drinking, Ming Hu wakes up penniless and plastered at the local brothel. The madam confronts him and starts making threats about what they do to patrons who can't pay. But Ming Hu doesn't care. He tells her to break his legs, break his arms, strangle him, and throw him in the river. He doesn't want to live. He doesn't even want to tell her his name. So the madam names him Chin Chai and gives him a chance to work off his debt at the brothel. But his job at the brothel doesn't last long after he intervenes when one of the working girls is being abused by one of the customers. A fight breaks out and Chin Chai ends up wounded and out on the street. The wounded Chin Chai ends up at the home of the local magistrate, Chen, after Chen's daughter, Yoon, finds him bloodied on the street. Once he is feeling better, Chin Chai is given a job working at the Chen estate, working alongside Xiao Fu, who ends up becoming just the friend that Chin Chai needs. Chin Chai proves to be a good addition to the staff until trouble comes to the Chen's house in the form of Chin Pao and two henchmen who work for the crime boss, Chung Tung. Chin Pao wants Magistrate Chen to turn a blind eye when Chung Tung's opium shipments come to town. Magistrate Chen refuses to comply, and so things heat up for Yoon, her brother Kang, and Xiao Fu. This will be a good time for Chin Chai, but he refuses to fight. Chen's inaction when the magistrate and his family need him most lead him to be labeled as a coward. He gets pushed around by Chung Tung's thugs to the brink, and when Xiao Fu, who can't fight but is no coward, gets beaten and stabbed in front of him, he makes his triumphant return and proceeds to kick some ass. This wins him the admiration of the magistrate and his followers. Now Chung Tung's failed attempts at bribing the magistrate lead him to go to extremes. Unwilling to outright kill the magistrate or Chin Chai, Chung Tung uses his special technique of, get this, needle throwing on the magistrate, which will kill him in 3 days unless they are removed by an acupuncture specialist. Chung uses this method as a means to control Chin Chai and the magistrate. Chin Chai comes up with a plan to help save the magistrate and stop the opium shipments, but before they can put it into action, Magistrate Chen sacrifices himself and removes the needles himself, causing his immediate death. With nothing holding them back, Chin Chai and the magistrate's family develop an alternative to take down this pack of drug smugglers and get their revenge on Chung Tung. Fatal Needles vs. Fatal Fists is a decent kung fu flick that gives you enough to keep you in the seat of your chair. Now, I will not go as crazy as Quentin Tarantino did to suggest that this movie is the martial arts equivalent of the classic western Shane. I will say that director Lee Tso Nam did a fine job with the premise of inner turmoil through what essentially is a character piece. Dong Wang Tao does a really good job of being a character that is on top, then hits rock bottom, and then fights his way back on top. The supporting cast is good, with a special nod to Ko Xiao Po as Xiao Fu. I think he was probably the most badass of all the characters, short of our protagonist and antagonist. Speaking of which, I gotta give props to Yi Shang, who always brings the filthy, this time as a needle-wielding drug lord. Yi Shang's Chung Tung throws his acupuncture needles around with a precision that will put Gordon Liu's character in Clan of the White Lotus to shame. Fatal Needles vs. Fatal Fists is an overall triumph in its goals of telling an interesting story that imparts on you the anticipation of when is our hero gonna strike back? What will be the final straw? The tone of this movie is perfect, and though it's not necessarily chock full of fights, there's enough there to make you stick it out in the end. Sorry, I had to do it. 6.5 kicks is what I'll give this one. Well, that's all for now. Tell us how you feel about Fatal Needles vs. Fatal Fists. Is it a Dong Wang Tao banger? Comment below and let us know. And please don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. Helps with the channel. Special shout out to our Patreon members whose contributions help produce this video. You rock. And until next time, this is your boy, OG Ant the Lone Wolf, signing off. Fist and palm salute. Woo, woo.